Hey there, what's going on? Chris Cervantez eHomes coming at you with the monthly market update for the city of Glendora for the month of October. So can't believe it's October. Feel like we say that all the time, but really I can't believe it. Pretty interesting stuff coming your way this month. I'm just going to jump into it and unpack it. I'd love to not make this a 23-minute video, as I'm sure you would as well. So Glendora, current active inventory, we're looking at 71 homes in total. That's actually up significantly from even just a few months ago, and we're seeing it's actually double than what it was back in April. So we're definitely seeing more options on the market. In fact, I've actually personally been looking in Glendora, and here's the thing, or here's the curveball, is that once you really pare down your criteria, 71 sounds like the inventory is way up, and by the way, the absorption rate is now 1.8. So that means that there are more options for buyers, but quite frankly, there still is not enough. If you're a buyer looking in a particular price range, I can almost assure you there's probably not going to be a dozen homes to look at. There's maybe going to be 3, maybe going to be 5. And then there's always like that one that's immediately eliminated because it's on a busy road or it's funky or whatever, right? I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I want to put things in context, and it's not just doom and gloom. Yes, the market is changing and it's definitely shifting, which we'll get to, but you got to kind of look at the big picture and like kind of remove yourself out of that. So pending inventory, we're at 34 homes in escrow right now. That's down substantially from even this past 6 months. Back in April, we were at 49 homes. Now we're at 34. So closed inventory, we're at 38 homes that have closed in the last 30 days. So 38 homes, that's actually flat from year over year, which I thought was really surprising. I would have expected the higher interest rates to really bring down that number. It has brought it down substantially from earlier this year, but nonetheless, we're still looking at a year over year, it's pretty flat. Last year we had 36 homes, so it's actually up by 2 home sales. So some interesting things to consider. First off, year over year, the median sales price for Glendora, it's still up. And it's actually surprisingly, it's still in the lower teens. So the median price range compared to last year is up 13.1%. So that's a lot. Now, something that I've said for other cities in the immediate area is that I can almost guarantee you that 13 is going to go down to the single digits here for the November and December update for Glendora. So look out for that because that's what's happening in all the other surrounding cities. I think it might be just something with a couple sales here and there, but nonetheless, when you have homes going up by 13% year over year, experiencing what's happening with the interest rates, there's no way that can sustain, and that's going to go back down. And then I think what the leading indicator, or the thing that we can kind of point to, is the fact that here in the last 30 days, which before we get into that, I want to go back to, I think if we look at year over year, so the last 12 months, it's one thing. But if you look at the last 6 months, I can assure you prices have come down slightly, even if it's just by a couple percentage points, but it's definitely softening up. 7%, high 6% interest rates, that's not helping anybody. That's not helping sellers get those record-breaking prices that we were experiencing for so long. Going back to the list price to sales price ratio. So the list price to sales price ratio, there was a pretty substantial swing. It was about 5%. So last year, on average during this same 30-day time frame, homes were selling for 1.8% higher than the list price. Now, homes are selling 3.7% lower than the list price. So it's about a 5% swing year over year. Why that's significant, or why you should care, is because if you're going to list your house here in the next couple of months, don't be surprised if you have to drop the price. Don't be surprised if the offers that come in are a little bit lower than the asking price, because those interest rates, it keeps on coming back to that common denominator. When we have 7% interest rates, Freddie Mac just came out with the fixed interest rate. This was as of about a week and a half ago, 6.7%. If you have low down payment or lower credit scores, you're easily in that low 7% interest rates. So a lot of people are surprised when I'm sharing that with them, but that's really putting some downward pressure on the pricing. Now, as far as average days on market compared to last year, we're currently looking at about 20 days on market versus the same time last year, 29 days on market versus last year it was 17. So that is a pretty substantial slowdown as well. And I can foresee that ticking up as we enter to the holiday season, because we traditionally see our market slow down a little bit. It's not going to come to a screeching halt, but definitely I think that days on market's going to creep up even more. And then as far as the highest and lowest sales, so here in the last 30 days in Glendora, we're looking at the highest sales over in Morgan Ranch, 257 Morgan Ranch Road. This home was on the market for almost 6 months. They actually tested the market last year in 2021. They didn't sell it, but then they relisted the property this last time for almost 6 months. They originally listed at 2.2. They ended up selling for $1,718,000. So they had to come down about 21% from their original list price, but nonetheless, they did what they had to do to get it sold. It did have a beautiful pool. The inside was upgraded, incredible banister. 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 4,300 square feet. So congratulations to those sellers. The lowest sales price was, again, one of the condos right there on Barranca, just south of the 210 freeway, 1228 South Barranca Avenue, Unit C. Now this one was only on the market for 5 days. So something that I'm communicating to some of my sellers with this in mind is that if you price the home appropriately, even if you have to price it lower than maybe with one that your neighbors sold here recently, case in point, this home sold in 5 days. Sold for 5 days for 100% of their asking price. Granted, it's a much lower price compared to some of the other sales in Glendora, but nonetheless, they got it done fast. It did have 2 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 1219 square feet, 2-story condo built in '84. They did do the bathrooms, they did do some flooring, so it looks like there was some nice upgrades in there, but they got it done, so good for them. That was a mouthful. If you are thinking about getting involved in this market, something I was sharing with an associate recently is that I think if you're thinking about getting your home sold in Glendora here in the next 60, 90, 120 days, it would behoove you to reach out to an agent, reach out to myself. I would love to discuss what the market is doing and how we can position your property to get it sold within the time frame that's going to work for you and your family. So thanks so much for watching this week. Hope you found it valuable, and take care. Talk soon.